Convening our House Investigative Committee to investigate compliance with audit numbers 19-12 and 21-01, meeting of the committee. Today is Tuesday, October 12th, 2021, for a meeting notice for 2:30 p.m. This meeting is being conducted in person and via video conference, in person here at conference room 325 at the state capitol. Present in the room is myself, Chair Della Belatti, with Vice Chair Linda Ichiyama. We also have participating via Zoom, Representatives Amy Peruso, David Tarnas, Val Okimoto, and Dale Kobayashi. Other members may be streaming in, but members, we do have a quorum, so we're going to proceed with our agenda promptly. Members, first on the agenda is the scheduling of appearance of witnesses before the committee. Members, we have a busy schedule next week set up for hearings that will be conducted on Wednesday, October 20th, 2021, starting at 9:30 a.m. And we have joining us Representative Yamashita. So we certainly have more than quorum now. Members, returning back to our scheduling of witnesses. So we will be having witnesses Ronald Shiigi and Suzanne Case, Chairperson of the Department of Land and Natural Resources, scheduled for Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. For scheduling purposes, members, I'm hoping that we will be wrapping this up by 12 noon. So this Wednesday hearing will be done and completed 9:30 a.m. to noon. The second scheduling of witnesses, members, will be Thursday, October 21st, starting at 9:30 a.m. with the testimony of Keith Chun. This one, again, members, we hope to wrap this up by 12 noon. And then in the afternoon of Wednesday, October 21st, 2021, beginning at 1:30 p.m., we will hear testimony from Mr. Jimmy Nakatani and Ms. Myra Kiichi, starting at 1:30 p.m., hopefully wrapping up by 4:00 p.m. on Wednesday. Projecting forward, members, I would like you to reserve all day Thursday, October 28th, for further hearings. It appears that we will not be using the 27th or the 26th. So it will be October 28th, members, that I ask that you hold in reserve for the work of this committee. All right. So with that, members, we're going to start to issue subpoenas to witnesses for next week. First up, members, we're going to be asking Mr. Ronald Shiigi to appear and testify before our committee on the detection and response to potential mismanagement, malfeasance, fraud, and/or auditing irregularities identified by the Office of the Auditor during audit number 19-12 for the legislative purposes of improving the internal controls of the Department of Land and Natural Resources and determining agency reporting requirements. This hearing will be conducted on Wednesday, October 20th, 2021, 9:30 a.m. in conference room 325, with persons appearing in person or with the approval of the chair of this committee for travel or medical reasons via teleconference. So members, I'm going to be asking that you all participate in person if you are here on island, and that the only reason for your excuse would be for travel or medical reasons. Members, any questions on the issuance of this subpoena? Seeing none, Vice Chair, for the vote.
Chair's recommendation is to issue the subpoena as noted. Chair, Vice Chair vote aye. Representative Hashem is excused. Representative Kobayashi.
Aye.
Rep Peruso.
Aye.
Rep Tarnas.
Aye.
Rep Yamashita.
Aye.
Rep Okimoto.
Aye.
Chair, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. For our second subpoena to Chair Suzanne Case to appear and testify before this committee on the detection of and response to the misconduct found in Attorney General Report number 16-5227 for the legislative purposes of improving the internal controls of DLNR and determining agency reporting requirements. She will be required to testify in person on Wednesday, October 20th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. here in conference room 325. Members, any questions? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Chair's recommendation is to issue the subpoena as noted. Noting the excused absence of Representative Hashem. Are there any reservations? Any noes? Seeing none, Chair, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. Members, for our third subpoena for today to appear and testify before the above before our committee on the management, oversight, and disposition of public lands by the Department of Land and Natural Resources Land Division for legislative purposes of improving these areas, we will be subpoenaing Mr. Keith Chun to provide testimony on Thursday, October 21st, 2021, 9:30 a.m. here in conference room 325 of the State Capitol. Members, any questions or discussions? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Chair's recommendation is to issue the subpoena as noted, noting the excused absence of Rep. Hashem. Are there any reservations? Any noes? Seeing none, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, Vice Chair. For our fourth subpoena, this will be for Executive Director James Nakatani to appear before this committee to testify on the management, oversight, and disposition of public lands held by the Agribusiness Development Corporation on the island of Kauai for the legislative purpose of improving these areas. We will be requiring Mr. Nakatani to provide testimony to this committee on Thursday, October 21st at 1:30 p.m. in person in conference room 325. Members, any questions or discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Chair's recommendation is to issue the subpoena as noted. Representative Hashem excused. Any reservations? Any noes? Seeing none, the Chair, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. And for our final subpoena for today, we will be requesting Ms. Myra Kaichi, Senior Executive Assistant of the Agribusiness Development Corporation, to appear and testify before this committee on the management, oversight, and disposition of public lands held by the Agribusiness Development Corporation on the island of Kauai for the legislative purposes of improving these areas. She will be requested to provide testimony to this committee on Thursday, October 21, 2021 at 1:30 p.m. in conference room 325 at the State Capitol. Members, any questions or discussion about this subpoena? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Chair's recommendation is to issue the subpoena as noted. Representative Hashem excused. Are there any reservations? Any noes? Chair, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. Members, we do not have any need to issue any SDT, subpoenas duces tecums, at this time. I do, however, wanted to address the request that we received on October 5th, 2021 via email by Auditor Les Kondo requesting additional time to respond to our subpoena duces tecum that was dated September 29th, 2021. Members, my recommendation is to deny this request after careful study of Mr. Kondo's letter and arguments. What we noted was that the requested documents do not fall under, do not fall under the status of working documents. And these are in fact documents that are public documents that we requested in the hearing process. Furthermore, as we have conducted our interviews, Mr. Kondo has been aware of this committee's intention to contact current and former employees, as well as our interest in documents related to audit numbers 19-12 and 21-01. And he has also been notified of his right to representation by legal counsel for well over a month. So based upon this, as well as the fact that this committee is entitled pursuant to Chapter 21 with these documents, my recommendation is to hold Mr. Kondo and the Office of the Auditor to the Wednesday, October 13, 2021, 4:30 p.m. deadline. And I will be communicating this intention to Mr. Kondo via letter. Members, any questions or discussions?
Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead.
If Auditor Kondo cannot meet this deadline, or does not meet the deadline, which is tomorrow, what is the consequence? What will happen?
So as I describe in this letter to him, he will be willfully disobeying the request by this committee for documents that we are entitled to see. And it will set into motion potential for contempt considerations by this committee. And as explained in my letter to Mr. Kondo, it is not, and I would like to repeat this as he suggests in his letter, it is not an automatic process, members. This will be taken up by our committee. So pursuant to our own rules in HRS 21-24 and our pursuant to our rules, a majority of this investigative committee will have to authorize a report of alleged contempt.
And none of the documents that we're requesting from him are properly considered working papers. Is that correct?
Not after study by our staff. So if I can refresh everyone's recollection, it is the manual of guides, which is the policies and procedures of the office, as well as contracts, publicly available contracts for Acuity, LLP, and KKDLY.
Got it. Thank you.
And we review that in our letter to Mr. Kondo, Representative Peruso. Okay. Members, any further questions? There's no action for us to take. I will be just issuing this and sending this letter to Mr. Kondo and his office. Okay. Seeing no further discussion, no further questions, members, we are adjourned.